All right, let's talk NFL Divisional games. I'm going to start off with the NFC with the Buccaneers and Saints, as well as the Packers and Rams. All of that coming up in 20 seconds. So the NFC Divisional games, of course, just went down this past weekend. I want to start in here with the Packers and Rams, and I'm going to go into the Bucs Saints. Most of this video is going to be Bucs Saints rather than the Packers and Rams, because to be honest, that Packers-Rams game just wasn't that good. I mean, I'm looking at the box score here, and I talk about this on the show a lot, on the pod. Make sure you check us out. That there's certain things within the box score that help you understand how a game goes, mainly the pace. So I always try to go to team stats and look at like the time of possession. The time of possession usually tells me the most about who was controlling the game. Because usually the winner is the one with the most time, the one that holds the ball the longest. Unless you're the Kansas City Chiefs, who have a tendency of scoring really, really quickly, and other teams have to figure out how to grind it out. But it's neither here nor there. This one, we're talking about Packers and the Rams. Packers at 36 minutes, the Rams at 23. This was not that fun of a game. I watched a little bit of it, and I kept zoning in and out, and I ended up starting doing some other stuff and getting some other stuff done because I knew that this was not going to be that competitive of a game. Aaron Rodgers was cooking. Of everybody over the weekend, he had the best weekend. He looked like the most elite. He's proven all of us wrong. He's also showing us why he deserves to have the MVP trophy, in which he should. As we talked about narratives, I felt like his narrative is one of the strongest one. My co-host Jimmy mentioned Patrick Mahomes as well. And so, of course, we went back and forth. You can check that out in one of our old episodes as we talk about narratives. And Aaron Rodgers kind of gave it to himself. This man has shown us, based upon the way he's been playing lately, on fire. 23 for 36, 296, 2 touchdowns, no picks. That's good stuff. You cannot beat that. And his competition went 21 for 27, 174 with 1 touchdown. Also, Aaron Rodgers did not get sacked in this game. So his line play was exceptional. The running game was pretty solid. So they had a good balance, and at the same time, you have considered guy that's considered one of the, if not the greatest talents at the quarterback position in NFL history. So the Packers, to me, was expected in its championship. Dunski's not even considered or concerned about anything else with this game. But I did want to talk about this Buccaneers Saints game. As you can see, got my creamsicle on. If you're watching the video on the YouTube channel, here, for those on the podcast, you don't see it, but go to the YouTube channel, you can see I'm in my creamsicle. I've been a Buccaneers fan since I was a child. What got me to be a Bucs fan really quickly, my favorite color is orange. I've always enjoyed the pastel-colored orange a lot more than your bright orange or your burnt oranges. And playing Madden 95, which was the first Madden that had team logos, the Players Association deal, colors and all of that stuff, I gravitated to Tampa Bay. Now, Cowboys, of course, was played the most in my area because I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma. But I gravitated. I've always been a different person. So that orange caught my attention. Love the Buccaneer. And boom, here we are. I'm a Bucs fan. So now this year we got Tom Brady. First time made the playoffs in some years. I don't even want to talk about how long it was. But we did win the Super Bowl in 2002, which was amazing for me as a Bucs fan going to college, being able to root for a team that nobody else really liked. And so watching that game, basically the game, the battle of the geriatrics, the old quarterback versus the old quarterback, old man Brady versus old man Brees, it was bad. It was bad. Both quarterbacks looked like they were aging. There weren't any passes very deep. I was listening to Cheney and Golick Jr. on ESPN Radio earlier today. I don't really get to listen to many of them anymore because I'm out on the road as much, but I was on the road earlier and I was listening, and Golick Jr. mentioned this, that there weren't any passes over with 20 yards of airtime. Like, they weren't throwing it deep. The sad part about that is they were in the Superdome. Like, why aren't you throwing it deep in the Superdome? Unless your quarterback can't. I told a lot of people, you've heard me on this podcast, on this show, I have concerns about Tom Brady and his age. I do. It showed in this game. But the good thing is that his competition was worse when it comes to age and arm, because Drew Brees couldn't do anything. I'm looking at the numbers from this game. Drew Brees threw for 134 yards. The team threw for 190. Jameis Winston had a 56-yard touchdown pass. That was his only throw of the game. And it looks like Drew Brees is probably going to retire. And then Brady, who threw the ball 33 times, had 199 yards. He had 2 touchdowns. And he ran for 1, which is good. But neither quarterback could really get it going or really throw it. I had to give a shout out to Leonard Fournette in that game too, because Leonard Fournette was out there in the flats catching those dunk passes, because that's basically the only thing that Brady can really do. His deep outs flutter too much to where they hang in the air, and players have come across and got pick sixes on them. Tom understands his limitations right now at his age, and he's taking advantage of the weapons he has. I mean, he has Chris Godwin, he has Mike Evans, Leonard Fournette, Gronk, Cameron Brate. Mr. Sims out there, he's got all kinds of good stuff. He's got 3 running backs that can do things. Tom did a great job of using what he knew would work. And the Saints, unfortunately, with Drew Brees basically ending his career this way with 3 interceptions. If you look at the play-by-play, which is the one thing I always look at when I look at box scores, not only in team stats do I look at, and I mentioned this in another video, that I look at the team stats, and early in the pod, I look at the time of possession, and then I look at the play-by-play to see exactly how the possessions went. If Tampa Bay didn't get any turnovers, it was punt, 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 punt. And field goal. Basically, all of their close stuff was created by those turnovers. Those turnovers is the real reason why Tampa Bay scored. And they won the game 30-20. So we have to give mad props to Todd Bowles' defense, because his defense was on point in this game. And the Buccaneers offensively, I mean, they're going to have a challenge. They're traveling up to Green Bay to play Aaron Rocket Arm Rodgers, who's on a tear right now, to prove to y'all that y'all was sleeping on him. And the Packers made a mistake drafting his replacement so early. What are we going to do up there in the cold? We'll play up there in the cold, which is probably going to snow knowing the luck. Tom knows about that, but at the same time, Tom moved to Tampa Bay so he can get out the cold. They kind of needed home field advantage to make that worthwhile. So they're going to have to run the ball. And I mean, they're going to have to run it good. You can't just run it and just be okay. You've got to dominate on the ground. You have to have time of possession. And that Tampa defense has to stop Aaron Rodgers, not only his run game, but also Devontae Adams. So overall, Tampa Bay played a solid overall game, but man, the pass game looked bad. It looked bad. And so I just hope that we're prepared coming into next week. Get a lot of dumps, a lot of crosses, which we have the talent that can do it. Let's just see what happens. First reaction on this is, good job, Tampa. You got a lot of work to do to prepare for next week.